Thank you for tuning in to Natty News Daily Weekly, where we cover the latest ongoings in natural bodybuilding. If you see a cool story you think we should cover, please send it our way, and maybe we'll include it in the next episode. And if you like what we're doing and would like to support us, please consider checking out one of our sponsors. Our sponsor, Core Nutritionals, for all your supplement needs. Code Natty News Daily, as well as GymPin. If you want to add weight to the machines in your gym, you're running out of room, check out GymPin. Also code Natty News Daily. Enjoy the episode.
All right, what's happening, people? Welcome to another episode of Natty News Daily Weekly. I'm not used to this. This is the first time I'm doing this. I'm used to introducing the podcast, so this is kind of throwing me off already. But anyways, as you guys can see, I am jumping in for James this week, at least for this episode. Anyways, James is a busy man. He has no idea I'm doing this. Dan or James don't know I'm doing this, but I had a free minute, and here we are. We're gonna do the damn thing. So I'm gonna do my best to live up to the standard that James sets with these episodes. So jumping right in here, Mr. Julian Cheung. Hopefully I am pronouncing your name right there, my friend. Competing in 2024 junior first timer, coached by Mr. AJ Morris. And I want to give this guy a shout out because dude looks working good for a first-time competitor. We're going to look at just some shots here. He's been documenting his prep pretty extensively here on Instagram. With each post he does some good insight into, how he's feeling, how prep is going, the whole process, how AJ views certain things as far as, how his physique is developing, like a little bit of like coaching insight with what he's posting, which I think is super valuable for people. So, looking at his physique here, he's not going to look like a first-time competitor when he does step on stage. Really well-developed physique, definitely some strong points as far as his legs. Really, really developed quads, sick vacuum shot there. Just really good physique. He's someone that I think is going to, this most muscular right here looks wild, but I think he's going to really, really make a mark for himself this year. I don't know the extent of the season they have mapped out as far as what shows, potential, titles they're chasing or anything like that. I don't have too much in the know with that, but maybe we can get Julian here and AJ on the podcast sometime soon and talk about the plan here, because I think he's going to have a really, really good season. But he's got ton of potential. Again, for a first timer, for a junior at that, right? So for those that don't know, junior is typically 23 years of age and under. So, assuming he's under 23 by most standards, really incredible physique for a junior competitor. So really looking forward to him stepping on stage. Moving along, our fellow Natty News participant, host, co-founder, Mr. Dan Cole here. Dan is officially on prep. For those that don't know, there's Julian giving him a little clout there too. But Dan is on prep now, posting updates quite frequently, which is pretty cool. Obviously, for me, James as well, I'm sure can echo this statement, but quite excited to see Dan step on stage. It's been quite some time since he's been on the stage, and that man is diligent beyond belief. He lives this bodybuilding thing, eat, sleep, breathe. His bodybuilding is his life, and it's going to show. I mean, it's already showing in his physique, but it's going to show even more so on stage when he gets down to that stage condition, and we can really compare, what his last stage look compared to what it will be this year. I know he's targeting some WNBF shows. I know he's planning, if I remember correctly, to do Mr. America again, which was one of his favorite shows back in 2021, if I remember correctly. So Dan's looking to hit up a number of shows this year. Posing for him, I think, is going to be something that he will continue to work on. It's definitely something we've discussed as far as being somewhat of a weak link for him, but he's working with a posing coach. Between James and I, we give him feedback as well, and he's using a lot of people in his corner to support him through this prep, which I think is going to help him and just really bring all these pieces together and help him bring the best package to stage. So already we're seeing his posing improve, and along with the level of consistency he has with every other aspect of bodybuilding, I think he's going to just bring it all together, and it's going to look pretty wild come show day. So shout out to you, my man. I'm super stoked to see it. Moving along here, post by Chris Elkins right there. See, I'm rusty at this. James has this mapped out. I'm rusty at this, but some cool stuff right here. Just a shot of him, the current WMBF world champion Brian DaCosta, Jacob O'Neill, who won his IFBB pro card at the Ben Wieters, and then obviously Chris Elkins himself, very top placing world champion level men's physique athlete. But just to see, the top of the game in natural bodybuilding, obviously 3 different physiques, but 3 really, really, really high level athletes, just kind of getting a lift in together, and showing that support to one another is always cool to see. And this is an example of what's possible and what the highest level of the sport can look like, between the 3 of them, because the 3 of them, if you were to look at their combined resume, it would be pretty damn impressive. That win-loss ratio between the 3 of these guys is a strong one. So yeah, just want to touch on that, because it's pretty cool to see guys like that get a lift in together and support one another. I believe they're all sponsored by Core. Shout out to Core Nutritionals for all your supplement needs. But yeah, pretty cool. Moving along, Christopher. This is someone who I've wanted to get on the podcast for quite some time, but we just haven't been able to line it up, and we've got a time difference we've got to work around. But this is another athlete who lives this bodybuilding game, and he put this post up just a couple days ago, if I remember correctly. Yeah, 2 days ago, of 2019. Yeah, 2019. On this side here, on the left of the photo, to the current 2024. And I mean, progress summed up right here. People like to talk down to how much progress you can make in those, after that initial stint, the newbie gains in natural bodybuilding. And it's just so not true, right? Obviously, you're going to get diminished returns, but when you start to go from, beginner to advanced and then advanced to intermediate, like that advanced to intermediate jump can be pretty substantial. Looking at these shots here that Christopher posted, like top to bottom, you're seeing improvements. Every pose, there's clear progress made. And it just goes to show that if you stay the game long enough, that you will continue to make progress. And people get discouraged by the thought of the diminished returns, but there's something kind of deeply rewarding about that if you stick with it for after that initial 4 or 5 years, then it's that decade and a half, 2 decades. That's when you can really see the true potential of your physique. And Christopher obviously has very good genetics for building muscle, but I think he would probably agree that he's not like a genetic elite where it's you look at weights and you just grow, because he's if you take a gander at his Instagram, you will see someone who's diligent to the process and dedicated to the process. But you then combine that with that time, right? Hard work and time. That's when you start to see the real fruits of your labor pay off. So shout out to you, Christopher, because I don't know. I think you're 2025. I think we've chatted about that at 2025 go round again. We were both part of the class of 2022. So shout out to us. But I look forward to seeing what's to come in 2025, because progress speaks for itself, and I think it's going to be really cool to see you return to the stage and make that official pro debut. And the last story I want to touch on, OCB Canada dropped their first confirmation of when their first show is. So Vancouver, British Columbia, July 2025. And I actually didn't even know this till I pulled this up before we started recording. OCB Natural Niagara Falls, Ontario, date to be determined. So OCB has officially moved north, effective 2025. They've announced it just the last maybe month and a half that they're moving up north. So OCB's been expanding to multiple countries outside the US. They were strictly a US organization for, I mean, up until recently, but they've announced, obviously, here we're looking at Canada, which is my homeland, but they've announced, if I remember correctly, Australia, the UK. I feel like there was a third. Maybe Canada was the third. I don't know, but clearly making moves to expand, which is really exciting. So the first one here, Vancouver. For those maybe unaware of kind of geography here in Canada, Ontario is definitely the hotbed. So no surprise that they're doing a show in Ontario with the Niagara Falls event, which is very convenient for American competitors because there's a border right at Niagara Falls and the U.S. that people could easily come up from the States and jump in that event. And then Vancouver, definitely one of the bigger cities in the country. You know, if we think of the largest areas to potentially host an event in Canada, Toronto, obviously, Ottawa would be another one. Niagara Falls, which they already have, Vancouver. So interesting moves made by OCB Canada with the official announcement of the Canadian True Naturals, Vancouver, July 2025, and then again the Niagara Falls event in 2025. We can imagine as well. Maybe that would be a fall event if they're having the show in July in Vancouver. Maybe the fall event, or somewhere around that August, September, maybe, to get people into the Orton Cup from Canada. But we shall see. I know from what I've seen on Natty News, there's been quite a bit of excitement about the OCB coming up to Canada. Obviously, I competed with the OCB in 2022 and earned professional status with them. Nothing but good experiences with the show that I did anyways. It was a great event. It was really well run. Probably some of my best stage photos came out of that show. So yeah, hopefully they can kind of keep that show standard up, because again, there seems to be some excitement from natural Canadian athletes to continue to have options with now the OCB coming up and expanding their horizons in the sport. So that's going to close this episode out of Natty News Daily Weekly, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Obviously, not the usual commentator for these episodes, but we hadn't put one up this week, and I figured I'd jump on it and surprise the boys with the surprise episode. So thank you guys for watching. Obviously, you know what to do. Like the video, subscribe to our YouTube channel here, subscribe or not subscribe. Follow us on Instagram, natty_news_daily, and we'll see you guys in the next one.